What's up guys, welcome to Blake's Garage. You may notice my ear over here. I actually had some skin cancer recently, melanoma on my ear. They got it all, cut it off, skin graft. So if you're wondering why I have that, that's why. Also, wear sun protection guys, wear sunscreen. Also, if you're welding, wear the proper PPE, right? I see a lot of people welding without gloves, without long sleeve shirt, all that stuff, get you sunburned and can cause cancer. So don't do it. Anyways, got that out of the way. The big thing going on here today, and why you guys are all here, is some of this. Some in-performance goodies. This is the carbon trim for the in-performance steering wheel. Ever since I watched Chris Harris do a review, I think it was of the BMW M2, might have even been the first M2, not even the M2 comp. Dude, that steering wheel was in the car with the lights shining up, doing sweet freaking drifts. So yeah, Keys Motorsports hooked it up. Thanks a lot, Brian, over there at Keys, with the in-performance steering wheel. And this has the digital gauges in it and everything. The M striping. So this thing's crazy. It's got G-force, it's got lap timer, it has shift lights, it's got all sorts of stuff. Basically what I'll do, we'll do a quick install of this. I don't know how in detail I'm gonna go in this video. Usually I do pretty detailed videos, but there are quite a few other videos out there. Brian from Keys Motorsports has actually done a video of the steering wheel, and Thick Whips has also done a video on this stuff too. So I might just link those two videos below. Also, so you guys know, it comes with a wiring harness here, and then there is a manual here. Now this is not an install manual. This is literally a how it works manual, which is like 33 pages of cool things that the steering wheel does. So go ahead and disconnect that battery, get into it, and get this thing on the freaking car. Oh, I thought there was a wrench in there. Dang, they only give you a screwdriver. And put a rag in the trunk, that way we don't basically close the trunk and lock ourselves out of the car, because I disconnected the negative side of the battery over here. Another good idea too is you could click this little guy, but you need to remember to unclick it, so or else you're gonna bam slam against that. But jump into the car. What we're gonna do first is go ahead and pull out the airbag. We're gonna pull off the steering wheel and then basically transfer over all the guts. Airbags are pretty easy to take off. You literally just pop a little screwdriver right in here. On both sides there's two little spots. This is honestly the first time I've taken an airbag out of the M4, so bear with me, but I should just be able to push up there and kind of see that side sort of released. And kind of push there, and one more time on this side. Thought I felt it. There it goes. Okay, so now should have a little wiring harness right in here. Okay, I just pushed down on it. Now you can see, boom, pops out. Then we got our nice little bag right there. And now we basically have the other little connection. So we'll go ahead and disconnect this one right here. Yep, there we go right there. So that's for the paddle shifters and like these controls right here. My car doesn't have the lane vibration because I basically have like a very stripper model. I don't have any of the fancy lane assist stuff. So you'll have a little vibrator thing here if, you know, when you're like drifting lanes, which you shouldn't be doing. This shouldn't be anything you actually need, but if you're paying attention. But you know, that little piece goes in this section right here. The other area right here that will have a wire for your heated steering wheel. I don't have a heated steering wheel either. I ain't fancy like that. We got that stripped down version. We got that carbon cloth with honestly, which honestly, I think the carbon cloth is such like a flex. I think it's so sick, and it's gonna be one of those things that everybody's like, you know, they're extended leather and blah, blah, blah. Everybody's gonna want the stripper model. It's like the old E92 M3s with the single hump where you didn't have the nav. Everybody that's cool, in my opinion, doesn't want that hump in the middle, you know? They want it clean. They don't want that old iDrive. No one cares about that. No one cares about old technology. You care about that driving experience, and that's what this wheel is all about. So, 220 torques on these screws here. The little screw on the back is definitely a smaller screw, so keep that in mind. I think I can take this little middle piece off. I think. Woo! I gave it some tugs. Oh, it's a couple clips on the side there, and no, I didn't break anything, so be a little careful with that. It looks like there's a couple clips, but I guess you can He-Man it too. Now, this is where I was talking about. You have this heated steering wheel, you'll have a wire going down here. If you have that vibrating thing, you'll have that right here, so you gotta wire that appropriately. Also, before I take this off here, I wanna do one last clean of the steering wheel. Your steering wheel should not be shiny. If your steering wheel is shiny, it's definitely very, very dirty. The steering wheel is semi-shiny. I've seen way worse. One problem is though, I started having the dye kind of coming out of my steering wheel right in this area right here. You can see that the dye literally came out. Now that was mostly because I used Mr. Clean type things, the magic foam brush that literally pulled the dye out of the steering wheel. So I'm gonna try to actually re-dye that in the future and see if I can't make this look better. But real quick, I'll go ahead and put some leather cleaner on this thing. Just kind of get it cleaned up before I get it pulled off because it's easier to do. And then we'll yank the steering wheel. It's kind of still drying. You can see this area right here. Got a lot more matte. See how it's more matte than this side. Over here, this side's a little more shiny. So it should be kind of matting it out, but a lot of times this has to dry. I just did that side right there. All right. Little centerline notch, you see the notch to the notch. That's how we'll know to put the steering wheel in the correct position again. Now, literally, this thing should just kind of pop off now. Boom. So we got to transfer over all the guts, the paddles, all that stuff. And man, there's the back side of the steering wheel. It needs cleaned a little bit more. See, it's very shiny. Try this the Brian from Keys Motorsports way. You kind of press like right here without trim tools. Oh, I see. Press right here because this area right there. Okay, and it's locked in. Nice, nice, nice. And the same on this side. Nice. Not too shabby. So that's still connected there. I want to make sure this thing doesn't spin, so I'm just going to put some tape on here just to make sure it doesn't spin much. I know I can be really careful, but I'm making a video, so I'll show a trick to you guys that Brian showed in his video as well. Tricks are good. So 7mm on these guys right here. All right, so while not spinning this or whatever, we're just going to go ahead and pop this little situation off. And then we can see right behind here, we got a couple wiring connections. You would have a heated steering wheel connection right there. You have a heated wheel, this guy right here. And then once you get that, you basically pop this back, and then that connection can literally just pop right out. Why is this hard one-handed? Okay, has a little tab on the back side of this one, and we can pop that out. Now, this whole guy is disconnected, and we can set this somewhere safe. All right, so now it's wire running time. This is kind of where we're gonna be running our wires with this stuff right here. I think we have to tap into one of these pins here. So, yep. And then we're gonna be running some wires right back through here down to the floorboard area over there. Pretty much gonna make this a little bit more accessible. This is just how Brian does it from Keys Motorsports. Grab right here on your dash. You're gonna go ahead and pull these vents out, right? Now, as this comes this direction, it gets real skinny over that way, so you can break this. So just be careful and make sure you have this side kind of out and that you're gentle to the end part. I'm gonna go right over here.
By the way, guys, that's the first time I've ever done that, and that was one-handed while filming, so it's pretty easy. Okay, now right here, gotta go ahead and pop out this little hazard and key button, I guess. Well, actually, Brian just showed popping it out, but we're gonna just go ahead and try to disconnect it here. On the back side, you got a couple pieces of wiring. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that with 2 hands. I'll get back to you. This one just pulls directly out. That one did have a little tab. The hazard button and lock switch is this guy right here. And this one right here is for the climate control. So now we got a nice little hole in here where we can kind of feed our wire through and then feed our wire up through here. Kind of, I can see my own finger, right? Makes it a whole lot easier. So this shouldn't be too difficult. Now I want to go ahead and get the wire down in this area. This little piece right here is just going to pull up. Now the clips may stay in the actual area down here, so we might have to pull those back out later on. Oops. Yeah, these pretty much all stayed. You can see the clips that I'm talking about right here. Boom, boom, boom. However, those ones stayed in their little slots. So we'll pull these out with pliers before we snap that thing back. Now we got this little piece right here. You can see there's kind of like a little edge piece on there, but we're kind of gonna pull this back. Now, what I gotta do real quick is undo the paneling right down here. Now, I got this in for my Garmin Catalyst because we be racing up in this car. And then I got a couple screws that are down here, right in this little area right here. I think makes it a good time to change your cabin air filter too. So pop this down. Got a connection right here for our little cigarette lighter, which if you guys aren't aware, you just unlocked a secret code on the car that you have. Ooh, it's dusty down there. All right, we'll unplug the little light, the footwell, and get this little plastic guy out of here and get it cleaned up. Should be able to kind of just unsnap this little guy right. I gotta pull that out with a pair of pliers later, but yeah. Stick cover time, I think it's a T20 Torx. I gotta get in there, take that off, get that plastic cover off, and then we can get to do the wiring areas right here. Shouldn't be too difficult, especially with those little areas that we opened up. I think this connector right here is for the lap timer. So we're just gonna go ahead and wind that one up. We'll tape that up with some Tessa tape and stuff it in here so it doesn't make any vibrations. I do have Tessa tape. You can use electrical tape, but that Tessa tape is basically what this stuff is already pre-wound in. So you can get that OE feel. Boom, Tessa taped up that harness. This is Tessa tape. It looks like electrical tape. Literally says Tessa right in it. Race German sells this stuff, so if you want some, grab some from him. Now we're looking at the shorter connections. Shorter connections are gonna go down in this footwell because that's where the module goes. Now we can see that longer cable right here. I want to say this goes in pin number 4 on the little steering wheel area in the back side. We're going to disconnect a piece and we'll click that right in there. But first, we got to fish it over there, which honestly shouldn't be that hard. All right, so far I just shoved this up here and I was able to reach my hand in there and literally grab it. You know, you can use a tool for this. It's pretty easy, but I'm an electrician and I've been fishing for many years. So this stuff's pretty easy to me. I want to show you this without tools because, you know, tools aren't always required for everything. Look, we're gonna go right over here. I'm literally gonna put my hand right here. Boom. Real time, right? Real time. Now I'm gonna Tessa this up to these things so this doesn't jiggle at all, but you can see I already have the wire right over here. We're good to go. We're gonna Tessa tape it up and we're gonna connect it into this connector. Let's jump into this. I honestly love BMW connectors because they come apart and they're very easy to work with. So right here, there'll be like a little tab that we'll push with a pick and we're gonna take this apart. You can see how this little piece right here, it's literally gonna whoop, slide right out. And then we're gonna be able to put this pin right into the terminal so it'll be in the correct spot. Right here, look, okay. And we see this connector. And remember which way it goes, but what's cool about BMW stuff, there's literally an arrow, there's literally a notch, it's not, you know, you see how it slides in, it's got an arrow on it this way. We can't slide it in like that. It only slides in like that. So you don't really have to be afraid of this stuff. It's not very scary. Now, we have the wire right here, which we're gonna tuck up, and we'll test to tape it up in this little area and get it looking good. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, which is right here, 5, and 6. There's a little tab on here, so we want to make sure that that little tab is facing outwards. We can literally click it right in there. Now, if we have to take that back out, you can use your pry tool, and you can push like that, and the pin will come right back out again. We don't need it to, but it can. We're gonna use that procedure down here to de-pin something, stick a new pin in, and run it a little differently. So I went ahead and just clicked that trim back together, put this trim back on. The wire is good under here, added some Tessa tape. Now I just gotta finish up all the connections down in this little area. So get into this guy right here. Gotta unplug this cable, and then we're gonna take out these little side connection pieces and tap into some wire. We'll put it into the top piece of this connector with the provided little piece right here. We're gonna go ahead and find those wires, take them out, and click them into this. We're gonna grab 18 red and 19 blue, which should be these guys right here. We're gonna take those out of the wiring harness and put them into this little connector right here. On this connector, we're gonna notice there's a red and a blue. The red one goes into the red one, the blue one goes into the blue one of this little connector that's gonna slide in. So obviously make sure to not crisscross these or anything, or you're gonna short out your CAN bus, and that's not gonna be a good situation. So it's pretty straightforward. We'll just slide these right in the connector and connect it up. This one goes to this one, just connects together. Just like that, we're good to go. And now we got to tap into the other connection. And that's gonna be on the black connector. It's gonna be this green wire. And then the brown one is gonna be the ground, which is gonna go under the carpet, and we'll get to a little connector under there. All right, connector number 3, con 3. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect these little harnesses right here, pull that out so we can get pin number 19. Now, if you look really close on here, you'll actually see that there are numbers. Like it goes up to 54 right here. Pin number 1 starts there. Pin number 28 is starting on the brown. So we're just gonna get the blue one. Is actually this guy right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this back and connect the green wire into this. I gotta get it back a little bit though. I'll undo this Tessa tape right here and connect it in with that in there, and then we fold it over and crimp it down with a pair of pliers. I don't really want this green end sticking out, because that's literally a open wire and that could short out on something. So we're just gonna leave that in the connector and then fold this over nice and tight. So this is where I think a lot of people take the easy route, and I think it's a bad idea. I really think that you should put this to a proper ground, which is literally within reach, and it just takes a little bit more time. I've heard of people saying that the wheel overheats. I live in a hot zone. I'm in Northern California, so hey, I'm gonna test that like in 2 days. But I have a theory. My theory is that maybe, just maybe, because people tap into just a ground that's like in here, just a brown wire, that's not the best, because that's not the best grounding scenario. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap it to the ground bar under there, not tap it, but I'm actually gonna slide it onto there, and we'll try that out. So we're gonna move the carpet out of the way. Actually, we'll slide these back in because we're all tapped. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the plastics back in, and then it's time to work on that steering wheel, transferring it all over. time lapse, we swapped everything over, all the wiring harnesses, all the little things, and now this wheel is ready to get slapped on the car. Go ahead and put this guy on here, center it up. Steering wheel is on. So I can go ahead and plug this little guy back in. The airbag, so we'll go on BMW status on this. The bag's all cleaned up. Doesn't look like I have any other connections for anything in here. So we'll go ahead and wire up the airbag. Hope this thing doesn't explode in my face when I do so. Click the airbag in to place. Oh yeah. Dudes. Oh man, that looks sick. The only thing I kind of wonder is like, Alcantara airbag? That'd be kind of sick. But anyways, wow, this is badass. All right, let's go ahead and connect up the battery in the back of the car and start the car up and try this thing out. All right, so moment of truth. Let's go ahead and turn on the car. Windshield wipers are on. In performance logo. You can't see it. Hold on, let me change the shutter. These are the modes right here. You just hit the button, press and hold. I have to hit. I can't hit both at the same time. That's a G-force, left and right, forward and back, turning G-forces. Pretty freaking cool. Okay, so I'll press and hold back. I'm gonna go over, press and hold. This is the race mode right here. This is a lap time, start, stop. That's the G meter. All right, so that's pretty dope. So they only come in real high up in the RPM range. I kind of set it up like that, letting this thing all kind of warm up, but let's go take it for a rip. I want to get my first impressions of the wheel because it is freaking sick. For now, today, we're gonna rock it gloveless, but in the future, I'll probably be rocking my Sparkos all the time. Lights lighting up there. It's pretty cool, man. Pretty freaking cool. I dig it, I dig it, I dig it. Yeah, the steering wheel just looks dope in here. Oh man. Guys, let's give this G meter a bit of an idea of what's going on. Now I set it to like 1G. I don't know if that means it's got to hit 1G before it starts metering, because I'm kind of thinking that is the case. I wanted it to be a little bit more maybe I set that too high. Also, I don't know. We haven't really gotten to rip a corner yet. Front understeering a lot, man. 1.11. So it doesn't really show up until 1.26. We're gonna get some heat in the fronts though. We get some heat in the tires altogether. 1.26. 1.08. So it's pretty cool, actually. It does show me some G-forces. Man, I gotta get some heat in these tires, my dudes. Look at this guy. No idea what he's doing. Just gonna get over last second. Oh yeah, people know how to drive. So the steering wheel feels really good in my hands. And yeah, it's not really registering until up above a G, which I can turn that down. I set it to 1.0, which means I have to register above a G to get a readout, basically. So yeah, you flick it. If you flick the car, I'm telling you, man, I need to get so 1.24 G's. No heat in these fronts. I don't want to wear out the fronts, but anyways, that's pretty cool. 1.24, looks like I got like a 1.28 G on there before. Let's go back. So water temperature and my oil temp at 210. Yeah, man, this thing's really, really cool. So I'll switch over to the efficiency mode, or we also have race mode, but I'll go to the efficiency. Click and hold. I'm assuming that's saying I'm getting 8 miles to the gallon. Average speed, I'm having 11% efficiency rate. Yeah, so we are not driving efficiently. Go into the race mode here. So all these things have different little numbers here. That's a lap time, seconds, quarter mile. You can actually do a quarter mile on this thing. Pretty cool. You can do laps and then sections. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. It seems like the sport mode is pretty much the most useful, in my opinion, with the water temperature there and the G meter. This multi-G meter is pretty cool. See if this Tesla pulls out at me, because they usually do, because they ain't paying attention. Yeah, dude. I gotta get those 315s on the car. Tell you what, need a little bit more front arrow in the vehicle. So my fronts just, dude, they just push. They just freaking push. .29 G. So anyways, steering wheel feels amazing. I love it. And yeah, it'll like store what you get on there. But man, I gotta get this front end dialed. I swear to God, this car makes so much rear grip, but the front grip is just not there. I need like bigger canards or something, man. I don't know. You stiffen up that spring rate. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We will talk to you soon. I hope you enjoyed that little install video. This thing is super cool, man. Let's get it to blink again. See, shines up when we're going quickness with a quickness. So yeah, I like it. It doesn't really like intervene a ton. It's not super annoying. I can't wait to see this thing at night. Thanks for watching, guys. Later, and wrench on.